Hey, how's it going? This is Christian as Valentino. So I have a quick confession to make. So back in 2010, I got on the cover of Vegas 7 magazine as one of the top dating coaches in Las Vegas. Now, what I didn't tell anybody back then, that entire time I was on that cover of Vegas 7 magazine, I was still a devout Mormon and I was a virgin. So yeah, back in 2010, here's that cover of me right there on the cover of Vegas 7 magazine as one of the top dating coaches, but I was still a virgin and I was super Mormon back then. And yeah, it actually, even though I was really good at approaching women, getting numbers, overcoming the approach anxiety, keeping the conversation very smooth and confident the entire time and setting up dates and teaching men how to do those things, I still, I couldn't take it all the way to sex because of my religious background. Like, there's no sex before marriage. So I definitely had a lot of guilt and shame thinking about having sex. And then I would have certain guys ask me about like going all the way, how to seduce women into sex. And I still had a lot of internal conflict around that. So I would always defer those clients over to Ryan Johnsomus. And back then when we started doing the Las Vegas lair. And so it was just a lot of internal turmoil. And it wasn't until probably a few years later, I was about 22. And I remember I went to the Mandalay Bay and we went to this specific bar down there. And I remember, I went and I approached a woman. But so at this time, I had a big dilemma. So I really start to think whether, do I really just want to live this life of this paved path of, I grew up in the church. The next thing for me was to go on a Mormon mission, then come back, then find somebody to get married with and just have that one partner for the rest of my life. And, that's the typical religious Mormon path. But then I started looking like, do I really want to do that? Or do I really want to just have multiple sexual experiences and have no regrets looking back at my life of, oh, maybe I should have done this, or, maybe I would have felt some kind of jealousy towards not having those experiences. So, I just had to be very honest with myself and where I was and where I wanted to take my life. And by the time I was 22, I made the decision like, hey, the next opportunity I get, I'm just going to go all the way. And I made the decision. And so I ended up losing my virginity at 22. But the way I did it, I ended up going to the Mandalay Bay. I went to a specific bar and I remember approaching a woman. We started dancing and then you start making out. And as we're making out, I'm like, hey, so here's the deal. You're a lot of fun, but what I really like to do is take you up to your room and exchange orgasms. Very direct, very blunt to the point. And she kind of got a little nervous, like, whoa. And I was like, hey, it's all good. You're a lot of fun. So if you want to just keep on dancing and making out, we'll just do that. And so we started dancing, then we started making out, I started kissing on her neck, started doing a few other things to escalate. And then she was like, all right, let's go. So I ended up losing my virginity at the Delano, like the hotel, what used to be called the hotel. And it was like the more nicer, exclusive, high-end hotel area of the Mandalay Bay. And from that day on, I just, continued, being very direct with women, having multiple sexual experiences. And at the same time, I turned my back on the Mormon church and I just never went back. And even though I left and never went back, I still had a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. And eventually, through the help of another friend, he actually left the Mormon church as well for other reasons. He actually went on a Mormon mission. He got married in the temple. He went through all the traditional path and he just up and left the church. And that kind of surprised me. Oh, by the way, so just to show you that I did actually go to the Mormon church. And so they have this thing called seminary that when you go every day in the morning for the entire before school, high school, you get a certificate. And this is just kind of my little certificate of graduation. And by the way, throughout this entire series of videos, I'm going to keep on coming out. I will use a pen name. My real name is Christian Torres, but I'm going to continue using because I like Christian as Valentino. So it's just more of an artistic decision. But yeah, so, here's my friend. He went through the entire, and he knew a lot of stuff about the Book of Mormon and religion. And he just up and left the church. So that shocked me. And I called him like, hey man, how you been? How's church? And he's like, yeah, I don't go anymore. So that was interesting. So that surprised me. But then when I asked him like, hey, why'd you leave? And he told me about the CES letter. And there's all these resources and things that I've never thought of. And then the polygamy of Joseph Smith, and then a lot of the manipulation within the church and the Book of Mormon. It was just a lot of stuff that I was never exposed to. But once I got exposed to that, I had the feeling before that the church was true and I'm being bad, to the church was full of shit and I was being honest about my desires and my wants. And it definitely released a lot of the guilt and the shame that I had. And it definitely helped me evolve to the next level in my personal evolution. And I was able to better enjoy my relationships with women that I was having. And there was a few other techniques that I ended up learning how to really let go of guilt and shame, especially if you come from the context of being in a religion or some kind of group mentality that's really controlling your perception of the world and beliefs. So that's been kind of something I've never really told anybody. I only told a few friends about. On that cover, I was still a virgin and I was being a dating coach. And for a long time, it's been years since I've done any coaching. I just started doing coaching again. I actually had a friend of a friend reach out to me that he actually needed some help with women and dating. And I helped him overcome some of those obstacles. And he's doing actually really well within the span of 2 weeks of working together. But he, just my experience of me being able to help him overcome like the approach anxiety, being able to, be confident and be able to keep the conversation smooth and going, and then setting up dates and then escalating to sex and keeping that amazing relationship together has been eye-opening, being able to see him evolve and transform. So I really miss that. I miss what I used to do with coaching back in the day, almost about 10 years ago with Ryan, and doing meetup events and doing pickup videos. Even though pickup, quote unquote, has like a negative stigma, but I just see it as just, being able to approach, being able to be confident and opening up the opportunity of a potential relationship or interaction, but just being able to make it happen. So that's what I'm really excited. And I'm going to actually be making a lot of these trainings, and I'm actually about to make another training. I'm going to leave a link below. So this training is going to be a little bit longer than any YouTube video that I'll ever make, because most of the YouTube videos, I know this one's probably going to be a little bit longer, but I'm just going to continue making more videos, and I'm going to be sharing my expertise and background. And if you want to learn more about me, you can click the link below and get on the training, and then we'll talk soon. All right, guys, later.